Thank you, Chair Castor and Ranking Member Graves, and thank you to all y'all for being here today. I want to echo the thoughts of several of my colleagues and note the Clean Energy Performance Program is a performative agenda pushed by liberal activists. I applaud my colleague, Senator Manchin from my home state of West Virginia, for seeing through what the SEP pretends to offer and understanding that wind and solar energy generation cannot and will not ever have the ability to power our country on its own. SEP, as currently written, would rob investment in these future technologies, as only a small sliver of so-called renewables would be eligible for these government handouts, incentivizing some technologies and companies over others. I have long been a proponent of an all of the above energy policy that takes into account the necessity to use fossil fuels to ensure Americans have affordable baseload power, while continuing to innovate in technologies that bring them closer and closer to carbon neutral. While I appreciate the lofty goals set by many of my colleagues, I often find myself pondering the practicality of implementing their grand visions and have found myself living around communities that have been destroyed by the good-intentioned ambitions of government leaders. McDowell County, located in my district of southern West Virginia, is one of those communities. Once a thriving area with a population well over 100,000 people, it was obliterated by former President Obama's war on coal. Now there are in the teens, less than 20,000 people that remain in McDowell County, where the costs of their daily lives only continue to rise as out-of-control inflation continues to take hold and rising gas prices cuts into their paychecks for every mile they now have to drive to jobs in neighboring counties and states. While some of my colleagues on this committee today may see that West Virginia is irrelevant, bless your heart, I would like you to note that our small but mighty state is the 5th largest energy producer, and you're welcome for keeping your lights on this winter. Mr. Menzies, could you briefly explain how enhanced oil recovery works and how this process can create carbon negative oil and gas?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for the question. I made reference to the carbon capture technologies that may be at risk if SEP goes into play. Right now, Congress has enacted the 45Q tax credits, and what carbon capture, utilization, and storage allows to happen is you can take captured carbon and you can push it down into oil fields or formations that have been essentially depleted, or at least what was able to get out of them when you first took the oil out. So there's plenty underground in those formations. You take the captured carbon and you pump it down essentially into those wells, and it brings additional oil up. And while it does, some of it stays in. When it comes up, that carbon that is with the oil is separated and put back down in, and it's constantly recycled, so that over time there is more captured carbon that stays down and is permanently sequestered in that oil field than it is in producing the barrel of oil, and the emissions are offset over time. Then it's basically it's a negative emissions outcome.
Is her time up? Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Miller.